Hi, my name's Greg Bond from, you guessed it, Altar Life Church. Here for a little coffee and sermonette time. The coffee is optional. Sermonette is not. Last Sunday at Altar Life, we started this new series called Living an Amen Life. This is just a short summary of what the whole series is about. 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 19 through 20, Paul's writing, and he says, "For the Son of God, Jesus Christ, who was preached among you by us, even by me and Silvanus and Timotheus, was not yea and nay, but in him was yea. For all the promises of God in him are yea, and in him amen, unto the glory of God by us." That's from the King James Version. Perhaps just a little easier to understand in the New Living Translation, it says this: "For Jesus Christ, the Son of God, does not waver between yes and no." In my words, my translation, that means he's not a maybe kind of guy. If he makes a promise, then it is for sure. He is the one whom Silas, Timothy, and I preach to you, and as God's ultimate yes, he always does what he says. Looking back at the Old Testament, we see the promises of God in a lot of shapes and forms. Sometimes they were in prophecies, sometimes they were in symbolism. For instance, in the tabernacle and even the furnishings in the tabernacle, everything pointed ahead to Jesus Christ. The prophecies pointed ahead to the coming of the Messiah, Jesus Christ. So when he came, it was God's way of saying that this is the ultimate yes. This is fulfilling everything that I have proclaimed. My word is true. Everything that I promised, that I said would come to pass, has come to pass. Jesus himself, in fact, said that he was even the fulfillment of the law. And on the cross, he was the fulfillment of God's promise to humanity, that they might have a relationship with him. So, to understand what it means to live an amen kind of life, we need to understand the word amen. From Thayer's Bible Dictionary, first of all, it means firm, or metaphorically, faithful. In other words, the promises of God are firm. They are faithful. If God makes a promise in his word, you can stand on it. If God promises you something personally in just a quiet moment of prayer, you can stand on it. It is an absolute. It doesn't waver. Secondly, it means verily. At the beginning of a discourse, surely, truly, or of a truth. You may remember that in the New Testament, Jesus often said before he began a discourse, verily, or in other words, amen. Sometimes he even emphasized it twice, verily, verily, or amen, amen, or this is a truth, this is an absolute, this is something you really need to listen to. And then at the end of a discourse, it means so it is, or so be it, may it be fulfilled. It was a custom which passed over from the synagogues to the Christian assemblies, that when he who had read or discoursed had offered up solemn prayer to God, the others responded, Amen, and thus made the substance of what was uttered their own. In other words, if I asked you to pray for me, and I didn't say anything through the prayer, but just sat and listened, at the end, I might say, Amen. Doesn't mean that the prayer has come to an end. It means that I take for myself what you said. I claim it as my own. If I could have, I would have said it like you said it. And so sometimes we take the word amen rather lightly. Like I said, it's easy to say, well, it's the end of a prayer. You know, we're all gathered around the table and someone is praying over our meal. And when they say amen, you know it's done that way. And if they don't say amen, you might keep your head bowed indefinitely. Or sometimes you've been in a service where you hear a preacher say, come on now, let's all say amen, or can I get an amen? And we think of that as being words of encouragement to help the preacher, and that's fine. But the real meaning of the word takes us to something much more deep. And we understand that if we're going to not just say amen with words, but live it as a lifestyle, it has to be something that's thought about and that we take very seriously. It goes far beyond the realms of our thoughts and our imaginations. And it's something that has to come from our heart that says, I've made up my mind. It's settled in my heart. There won't be any change. There won't be any wavering. This is solid. So in this series, we're going to talk about different people who lived an amen life, spoke amens, and what it meant at that time. And over the next few weeks, I'll be posting a few more of these so that you can see exactly what we're doing at Altar Life and just get a glimpse of the sermons that I'm preaching. Maybe you can use them for a small group or maybe just for your own personal devotion. Just something to think about during your day and your week. Thanks for being with me today. I hope you enjoyed the sermonette. Hope you enjoyed the coffee, if you had coffee.